Actually, I was in a rush this morning, and I was running late, and I picked up all my stuff, and I ran out the door, and my mom was like she always does, she goes, phone, wallet, keys. I'm sure you guys know, right? So anyways, I checked, and then I just booked it here. So when I got the call for TED, I was pretty high on morphine at the time, and I was thinking I was gonna come here and talk to a reanimated teddy bear. I was like, hell yeah. Honestly, I would have talked to anybody to get me out of the hospital. So when they pulled the morphine, I know, bummer, right? It hit me. I was going to be on TEDx. I remember watching this show as a high schooler growing up when it first came out, and I remember thinking how cool it would be for me to be on a platform that was built to inspire and influence others. But unfortunately, the harsh reality of it was I was in a hospital bed, just wanting to be normal. And I was the kid watching the other kids play. Chronic intestinal pseudo-obstruction. Does anybody know what that is? Yeah, me neither until I got it. So it is a condition that happens without rhyme or reason that inhibits the ability to eat or absorb nutrition. And I got it when I was 9 months old. So, growing up in the hospital, it was like my second home, where other kids, they'd go to their annual doctor's appointment and hate it. I was there a lot, and you can bet that I hated it the most. That was a joke. You guys were supposed to laugh, but whatever. So growing up in the hospital, you spend a lot of time watching TV, right? And the shows I would watch would be like American Idol, or So You Think You Can Dance, or does anybody know what anime is? Yeah, I know you guys know. All right. So anime is, they're Japanese cartoons, right? And in these cartoons, the protagonist would always fight or strive for his ambitions, his passion, and his goals, right? And I saw that, and I was so inspired, and that was what I wanted. Now, the only problem was I didn't know what I wanted exactly. So fast forward, and high school, I found it. Dance. It was something extraordinary. My friend had encouraged me to try it, and what I found was magical. Now, who's dance? Yeah? Yeah. All of your hands should be going up. Only a few? I'm not going to call you on stage. So, you know that feeling where the music plays and your heart starts to beat a little faster, right? And then inside your mind, everything becomes a little more vivid, right? Who's gotten that feeling? Oh, that's the adrenaline, junkies. But I'm right there with you. To me, my mind would go to the craziest things. Like, I would think I could do, be, or have anything that I want. Isn't that crazy? Yeah? Is that crazy? No. To think that we can do, be, or have anything that we want? Or is it crazy to think that we can't? Right? Deep. I know. I was on track to becoming a dentist, right? And at the time, that's what I thought I wanted. Like my father and his before him, I was going to do something that I think would have made me happy, and I was also thinking about minoring in dance at the time. Can you imagine that? You're a dentist minoring in dance. Be like, let me get this drill. I'm not minoring in dance, right? So anyways, like a lot of things don't go always according to plan. December 10th, 2010, I was admitted into the hospital for severe and agonizing stomach pains. I remember not sleeping the whole week, and at 2 a.m., the doctors came in, and then they said, emergency major surgery. They had found perforations, holes in my intestines. And I remember looking at my father, and he was torn up. And then we had called my mother, and I could just hear her voice, and I knew she was in tears. And so 4 hours later, everything changed. The doctors had given me a year to recover. They had taken out my large intestine, my colon, and 192 centimeters of my small intestine. And what was sticking out, protruding from my stomach, was a little part of my intestine. The doctor's calling it an ileostomy. I remember walking down the hallway with my IV pole and my mother to my left. And a nurse had come over and she had said, "I'm so sorry." And I broke down and I cried. And I was thinking, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to handle all this new medical responsibility? And most of all, how am I supposed to dance? So I remember my mom going, "I don't know how, but we will figure this out." So I was in the hospital the next 3 months. And I had told myself, if the doctors had given me a year, I could do it in 5 months. So with 2 months to go, I was dancing. And thanks. So I have one of the most amazing families. Every time I was in the hospital growing up as a kid, someone was always there to make sure I didn't feel lonely. And they always lifted me up when I was feeling down. They instilled in me the love, confidence, and most of all, the appreciation of the little things. And to that, I'm very grateful. Honestly, I have a lot to look forward to, and I consider myself one of the luckiest people in the world. I have loving family and friends, and a life of opportunities at my fingertips. I have never used my condition as a crutch or a reason not to pursue my passion with all my heart. And I'm just very fortunate, and I'm very happy because of them. Now, elements. My element is positivity. Like my mother always says, there are those who have it better and those who have it worse. And honestly, growing up as a kid, that was kind of hard for me to believe. I had a tube in my chest, and I was like Iron Man, but without the money, or the cars, or the expensive iron suit, or the cool girls. Oh. Well, I did have my mom, who I'll be quoting a lot of today. Maybe that's why she didn't show up. It's okay, sometimes superheroes gotta do it on their own, without their moms. It's just meant to be. She says it's not her fault, though. It's my dad's fault. He's in the back. But anyways, it's much better to stay positive than wallow and sulk in the negative. For example, I got a lot of great things going for me. I have a wonderful personality. I am super handsome. I'm just kidding about the personality part. But there were times when I was feeling down. And when I was feeling down, these quotes would come into my life. And it's not the words that would cheer me up, but the source that it was coming from. And they were coming from my loved ones, people who had my best interest in mind. And I trusted them. Quotes like, if you believe it, you can achieve it. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's about the journey, not the destination. Now, I know that these seem very cliche to most of you, and we hear it so many times we become deaf to the reminders to stay positive. It's like white noise. Well, just like I'm deaf to my mom's reminders to remember my phone, wallet, and keys, right? But to me, these quotes became genuine beliefs. Now, what's a belief? A belief is a thought, idea, or concept that you hold with you until it becomes your truth. It's a practice. And I practiced. I repeated it, and I repeated it. Trust the journey. It'll all work out through every hard time and hospital stay. And sometimes I didn't know if things were actually going to get better. I didn't know if I actually believed it. But sometimes it just felt nice to feel better. And I know it's hard, but if you repeat it, trust the journey, it'll all work out. Phone, wallet, keys. Right? And I've had one of the most amazing lives. I've had countless experiences. I've met some of the coolest people and made some of the best friends. And that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been able to turn what was a negative situation into a positive one. So, when I got the call and they had asked me to perform, I had one more surgery left to go, and it was actually last week, and I was thinking, I can definitely do this. I can recover in time, and we'll be good, right? And in the back of my head, I was thinking, maybe things won't work out the same, like the way I want them to. So, fast forward last weekend, by 2 days of last week, if you can keep that, that's a weird analogy. I forget what I said. Last weekend, I was thinking, can I dance? And my dad and mom were like, don't dance. But being me, I practiced anyways, and I got sick. And then my dance partner got sick, and right before this TED Talk. So I will not be performing today, but I, like anything in my life, look at the positive, and I'm just very happy to be here. We're on TEDx, y'all. Let's go. So, I want to encourage you guys to maybe look at the positive a little more. Think about what you can appreciate and enjoy every moment that you can. You can't always control the outcomes, but at least you control how you feel. And when you can't, that's all right. You just pick up the pieces, trust the journey, it'll all work out. Phone, wallet, keys. Thank you guys.
Actually,